Unforgiven, a white supremacist gang that, according to the Anti-Defamation League, is rooted in the Florida prison system. According to the ATF, the gang notoriously operates both in and outside of prison.
Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up. Bye up. Let's get to that intro. Welcome back to the channel, and if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directing the direction of the dope content that the gun stays kicking. And I appreciate the support, man. I'm very humbled by it. So a lot of people have been saying Wes Watson, right? Hey, at least he paroled in GP. At least he paroled in good standings, right? But how the fuck long is that going to last? Because according to some of the rumors out there, some of the word on the curb, there's a certain group out of Florida, man, that are very unforgiving, right? There's a white supremacist group in Florida, an alleged white supremacist group that has been said to have been looking for Wes Watson due to some of the things that he said in California, right? Now, what does California have to do at all with Florida? After this video, a lot of it is going to make a lot of sense, right? So we all know Wes Watson recently got caught up with 6 felony charges, 5 plus 1. They recently added a new charge onto all these felonies like he needed one more, right? And there's a lot of people debating, a lot of back and forth, a lot of he said, she said of what's going to happen to Wes Watson. And I'm here to tell you, you could stick a fork in him. I truly and honestly believe Wes Watson is going to sit down for a very long time due to his assaultive behavior, his assaultive history. And when you compile one case on top of one that's already ongoing, well, that's not a good look. Somehow those cases are going to gel. They're going to mesh, and one case is going to make the other one look as bad as the other. And that's basically what we have right now. We have Wes Watson accused of domestic violence with his girlfriend, accused of robbery with his girlfriend, harassment, and several other charges. And we all know that Wes Watson's been having this ongoing case now for a couple years, for over a year and a half, where he got into an assault in a gym, right? Now, that case right there has been prolonged, and he should be going to court, from what I hear, any month now, like within the next month or two on that first case. Now, we all know bail is revoked on that case, and that's the reason why he's sitting his ass down in jail and he can't get out. But see, a little birdie told me, man, that Wes Watson is in more trouble than you would think. When you're facing a lot of time, that's enough trouble as it is. You know, sitting down in the county jail after you're used to eating luxury dinners, you're used to driving luxury cars, Bugattis up and down Miami streets. You're used to having it your way, women with big old O's, right? And an entourage, man, that's down for your every word. You know, that's a life that once you become accustomed to and you lose, can drive any man crazy, any man or woman crazy. Imagine, and I understand because I've been through it, you know, with violations where you're out on the streets, having it your way, having carne asada and burritos and just living your best life, steaks. And then you wake up in the morning and you're in Tracy prison and it's dirty water, broken windows, and a brother saying, "Hey, where you from, blood?" On Paru, right? I've experienced it firsthand. So I can tell you, man, Wes Watson waking up that first day in jail after he slept that one off, it was a cold day for him, right? Don't matter how hot it is in Florida. It was icy for his ass, right? Because the realization sets in that you now are locked up. You're not going anywhere. All the money in the world can't save you. Them lawyers can't save you. Your friends definitely left you behind and are probably telling on you. And your girl's out there at a Lakers game, homie. Fuck the Miami Heat. She's at the Lakers game, right? Doing her thing. She's out there running around with bad baby, buying condoms and baby oil. It's all bad for Wes Watson. But you know what's even worse? The fact that there's a group, an alleged group called the Unforgiven in Florida, who are pretty well known and pretty deep within the prison system as well as on the streets, who have said to have been looking for Wes Watson. Now, does Wes Watson actually have a green light? Let's take it back. When Wes Watson first came on to YouTube and first started doing content creation, who put him on the map? If you know the history of Wes Watson, that you know that there was a man named Big Herc who did a lot of interviews. He was one of the first prison channels to be doing interviews in California, and his channel is very good. It's still an ongoing channel. It's called Fresh Out. And what Big Herc did was he told his life story and then kind of got off into interviewing people. He interviewed the first Norteño, allegedly. First Norteño online. He interviewed the first Black Southerner, which was Neil Dezad, online. And, of course, Wes Watson. And Wes Watson got known from that interview and kind of gained notoriety and fame because he spoke eloquently. He spoke intelligently. He told a lot of truths. But once he started his own channel and he was sitting in a park with pigeons shitting all over his bald head, he started to become outlandish. He started to become this character that he created while in prison, and he ran with that. He started to believe his own lies. And in doing so, a lot of these stories that he told were half-truths, meaning that they did involve real people, people that either Wes Watson met personally or that he knew of in the system. And I'm here to tell you, man, first and foremost, facts. You hear a lot of stories while incarcerated. You meet people and they'll be like, they're telling you war stories in the cell. Oh, yeah, the homeboy Sleepy and the homeboy Grimy and the homeboy Droopy was over here from this county and that county. And the way they're telling the story, you start to relive it because you're in prison and you have nothing better to do. So you start to listen to their stories, their war dogs, their war stories, like as if they were movies. And you start to imagine what these characters look like based on the description that these people give. And you start to put yourself into these stories where there's a lot of content creators on YouTube, especially in the prison genre, that will put themselves in stories. They'll tell stories that they weren't even there for, that they heard secondhand information on it, and act and put themselves in the mix. Like if they were involved in riots, like if they were in Susanville when it kicked off, you know, certain stories that their cellies might have told them that they actually start to believe that they were involved in. And the lines of reality and false and untruths start to blur. And next thing you know, they were at that prison at that time and know everything that happened, even though they were not. Wes Watson became one of those characters amongst many, right? And started to tell these stories and started to mention real names. He would start the story off with, I ain't going to say no names, and end telling the dude's mom's name. It was crazy. Things like this is what put a target on Wes Watson's back, got him on the radar, piqued the interest of a lot of people that were still incarcerated, because some of these names he was speaking on were dudes that were on the level, meaning they had status. They were real good within their group and had a lot of recognition and notoriety within their group, a lot of respect, right? And Wes Watson knew better, but he got caught up in the snowball effect. Things were going so good. People were giving him views. They were paying attention, that he just wanted to continue these stories because people like drama-filled stories. They like to hear stories that involve real people doing real shit or crazy shit. We all know that. As a prison content creator, man, someone who's done a lot, and I don't consider myself in the prison genre, but it's what I'm lumped into because I talk a lot about prison. Having been there, I have experience, right? I could understand how it feels to start telling these stories, and even when you mention names. But the thing is, you're never supposed to mention ongoing cases or crimes without a statute of limitation that can get people caught up. Wes Watson did. And in doing so, people did get RICO'd. People did get caught up. People did get questioned. They got their cell tossed up, meaning that the cops went to their cell, hit their cell, looking for any type of evidence to get them on some of these stories that Wes Watson was telling, some of these removals. See, when you mention a name, me and so-and-so did a removal, and, it resulted in this guy getting possibly unalived. Well, at that point in time, we all know there's no statute of limitations on nothing like that, right? So you might be scot-free, but he may not be, and you might even get your own self caught up. So Wes Watson was definitely in trouble. If you remember, there's a channel called Prison POV. Shout out Splinter, Prison POV out of Bakers, right? I do recall him being very upset and agitated and angry at Wes Watson because Wes Watson did mention a friend or an associate of Splinter's in a story, and that guy did get caught up in result of that story, right? So people were not too happy with Wes Watson, and he wasn't just speaking on regular guys. He was actually speaking on guys in the white factions that were affiliated with organizations, right? So he was talking about people he should not have, And the result of that was more incarceration for these people. Now, it's not a snitching thing, but it's a dry snitching thing. And Wes Watson very well did do so, right? So now, fast forward, Wes Watson is locked up in the Florida system. He is now on his way to prison. He's going to be going to prison. He will, more than likely, 99.9% chance, be convicted and be within a Florida system that, of course, we know is much different from the California system. Wes Watson did time in a couple 2 yards and a 3 yard, and then got shipped to Oklahoma and did his time. So all these 4 yard fantasies, these level 4 yard 180 design style gyms that he says he was in, and all these level 4 180 design dorms that he says he was in don't exist, only in his own fucked up mind. But what does exist is a Florida system where the woodpile, brother, are not the woodpile. They are a group called the Unforgiven, and Wes Watson is going to be unforgave. Because from the word on the curb that this group, the Unforgiven, is probably one of the most notorious white groups in the state of Florida. They control the prison system. See, there's certain groups that control prisons because they are well established, they are respected, they have put in the work, they have gained their stripes within that system, and they got their stake on the yard, meaning they got their piece of the yard. People don't mess with them. When one jumps, all jumps. They are on full go. Now, this group basically are what is considered the organization when it comes to the Woods. Woods meaning the white man. See, one thing about prison, whether you like it or not, and I know different states rock differently, but I could speak for the state of California, everything goes along racial lines. When you get incarcerated, you are going to function with your people, meaning the people of your ethnicity, unless you're, say, a Crip, a white Crip, a Mexican Crip, or, something like that, blood. Then and only then will you be allowed to, according to if them people feel that you're down enough to walk the yard with them. Now, that doesn't mean if you're a white Crip, the Woods are going to allow that to happen. Doesn't mean that they're going to be happy about it. Because to them, you're considered a race traitor. You are doing it's the ultimate slap in the face to your race or to your ethnicity. That's just how they feel. I've done time with Woods, and that's kind of the saying out there. They feel that you've traded on them, you've become an obstacle, you become, and in some cases, they're right to some degree. And let me explain to you why. As a grown man, you could be from wherever you want to be. You're a product of your environment. Excuse me. Wherever you grow up, you grow up. But at the end of the day, when you're in a fucking different world, and it is a different world, it's like a small city in prison, right? You got to understand that everybody sticks with their own because that's all you have. And if push comes to shove and shit goes down, no one's going to sit there and ask who you run with. They're just going to get off if they don't know, right? They're going to look at your skin tone, the pigmentation of your skin, and rock. And that's it. With Wes Watson, with certain people like that run Crip, that are whites or whatever, they may or may not get a pass. It just depends on how much respect they've earned while incarcerated, right? Now, Wes Watson ran with the Woods. That means he was just a good old boy. He got in there and he understood that the program was much bigger than the individual. As much as Wes Watson likes to say he's an individual and he could do whatever he wants, and he was deboing everyone and punking everyone, you see how his stories make no sense once you start to break it down? If that was the case, if he was this hardcore character that just punked all his cellies, beat all his cellies up, was shot calling everywhere, then why is it that he went in there and he ran with the Woods? Because he wasn't doing that on the streets. Why is it that? Because, of course, man, just like anyone else would tell you, the program is bigger than an individual. So all that individualism Wes Watson likes to say, he was his own man, he was doing his own thing, that's not the case at all. He was running with the Woods because he had no fucking choice, because all those dudes he said he beat up and that he punked and that he shot called would have got off on him where they were mad at. And that's the goddamn truth, right? So anyways, Wes Watson ran Wood, even so much so that he got a 23 and says the N-word with the hard ER quite frequently, even though he likes to bump baking soda breath and rub sweaty fucking bellies against black men. He definitely likes to hang out with them on the streets, but disrespects them as well. So that doesn't mean all Woods do that. Some dudes are not racial at all. They don't got a racial bone in their body. They just have to function with their people because that's how they were born. Wes Watson is now in Florida, and the cause is different. And for all those guys that are saying, well, Wes Watson paroled GP, he's in GP, Gun, you're just upset because he's still GP. Well, how long is he going to last on GP when there's a white group, basically the group he would have to be up under, and they want him? They don't want him. They want him, right? So The Unforgiven, this group that is well established in Florida, this alleged white supremacist group, has it out for Wes Watson, meaning Wes Watson is greenlighted. That if Wes Watson lands on a prison yard, where from what I hear, the Unforgiven group is pretty much functioning on every yard within the Florida Department of Corrections, the Florida system, Wes Watson's going to be in trouble. And why is that? It goes back to some of the things he said about guys in California getting people caught up. See, somewhere along the line, he crossed that threshold in that line and he got the wrong person in trouble. And some of the derogatory statements and the lies that he was making caught the attention and the ears of an organization in California. What organization? Nope, I ain't going to say. But I think you could put 2 and 2 together and read between the lines. And that group just happens to be in association with Florida, meaning that the guys in Florida from the group, the Unforgiven, are trying to make their bones, meaning that they want the attention of that group in California because that group in California is pretty notorious and pretty well respected. So imagine being all the way in Florida and recognizing that that group, man, has that much power and that much reach that they could put you with more respect and in a higher position within the Florida system. That's how these guys feel. You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. So, of course, any white man or any person that has a green light from the state of California or is wanted in the highest degree that wiggles on over to Florida, well, guess what? There's a group right there that is an association or respects that group and wouldn't mind doing a favor. Wes Watson is in trouble. If he does have a green light from this group is pretty notorious, pretty vicious, pretty violent, and have been a thorn in the side of the communities that they rock in and prison for a very long time. No disrespect to them at all. And I'm not saying absolutely that they're looking or going to go find Wes, but I'm sure Wes Watson, this is going through his mind. When you make enemies, when you accumulate enemies in numbers, you don't know who your enemy knows. See, there's a lot of people that talk shit and bump baking soda breath online. This fool's not going to do nothing to me, but you never know who his family or who his friends are, and they might feel some type of way, and they might do something. Wes Watson is going to prison. That's pretty much a given at this point. If this man is able to escape prison, and there's lawyers that have been put out videos that have said that there's action. Everyone on earth has action. That's why it's called due process. That's why you go to court in the first place. Anything can happen. The way that they use or the way that they file the evidence, or the way that they word, what the district attorney is saying. Any one of these things is a number for a mistrial or an appeal. It can be utilized. At the same time, they are going to use your background. See, where Wes Watson fucked up and where I think he's going to prison personally is he had action in the first case, the assault on the brother, right, in the gym, because they were not going to use his California his background. They weren't going to use his C file. They weren't going to use none of that. They were just going to go with what they know. And being that dude approached Wes Watson first, Wes had action. Now they are going to use, allegedly, all the assaultive behavior he has in the past. And when you do it 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time, 5 time, there's no time, but a lot of time, if you get what I'm saying, right? So Wes Watson's in trouble. And this group, the Unforgiven, who have a deep history in the Florida system, allegedly got a green light on Wes, meaning they're doing a favor for the group in California and are going to come looking for Wes Watson and not going to have to look hard, because like the people say, if he's GP, well, guess what? Then he's got to kick it with the Woods, the whites, right? Now, I know in Florida it may be different. You can kick it with whoever you want to kick it with, associate with whoever you want. But when you say the N-words with the hard ER, I don't think the brothers is going to let you kick it with them. When you've disrespected white men the way you have, and you got a group like the Unforgiven, one of the most violent, vicious groups that run the state of Florida as far as the Woods, right? You're not going to be kicking it with them. So how long is really Wes Watson going to last on GP? Because at this point in time, I don't even think he'll make it to general population in prison. Not in the Florida system. There's too many people that want to get him. This group is no joke. Okay, this group, being that Wes Watson is from California, like I said in my other videos, he's just a visitor, man. It's not like they're hitting one of their Florida homeboys that fucked up. This dude's from California. They are definitely going to make an example out of him. So Wes Watson's in trouble. Not only is he in trouble with this case and doing a whole lot of time, not only is he in trouble with all the people that he let down. It's funny. I seen some guy earlier today on Instagram, man. He wanted to defend Wes. He said, regardless of Wes's situation, Wes did a lot for him in his life. and he could appreciate that. Well, let me tell you something, sir. Wes did a lot of something and a lot of these women's life that he beat, and a lot of these people that he utilized and that he bamboozled, that he cheated, that he snake oil salesmen, that he burnt, right? A lot of people feel a different type of way because they felt like that $45,000 phone call wasn't enough, right? It's kind of like today's economy, $9 milk and $7 gas ain't cool, right? And a lot of people felt cheated, but you can only cheat yourself instead of treat yourself. And that's exactly what happened with people even believing. After so many people have said exactly what Wes Watson is, a lot of people believed it. And the truth shall always come to the surface, right? It will rise to the top. And all you got to do is blow the foam off, and the Unforgiven are there to catch it. So, like I said, there is a group allegedly with a green light on Wes Watson. How's it going to end up for him? Imagine being him in his position right now. You went from a multimillionaire. He still has money, but now he has no access and no action to it. He's sitting there in the county jail eating an apple, lumpy oatmeal, and a hard-boiled egg that's hard to peel. And at the same time, man, there's a group that are salivating and waiting for the opportunity to air this man out. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not dry stitching and saying they're going to get him. I'm just saying that's what people are saying out there, the word on the curb. Is there a green light out on Wes? Only time will tell. One thing that will tell you for sure is, I promise you, he's not going to be in GP. Not for too long. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, and strive for what I truly and honestly believe in. That's the betterment of all people. Even Wes Watson, man, stop beating up women and get your mind right like you tell everyone else. Live by your own creed. Dum-dum. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors out there in Turlock, California. If you're in the Central Valley, the Turlock area, make sure you slide through to the Barrio and get you something nice and cold to drink. Buy a lot of shit, man. Let's help the homeboy out. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're ever in the Tucson, Arizona, or you live or buy a home or you own a business, make sure that you look up Sticks and Stones, best yard service in Tucson by far. Let's support our small local raza businesses, man. This is the gun, and Wes is in trouble.